This week on Albuquerque Real Estate Talk, beyond bedrooms and price, we're going to up your game on your home search. What zip codes in the Albuquerque area are the hottest parts of town right now? What are sellers markets? What are closer to buyers market? Or are there any buyers market in Albuquerque right now? And Tracy, are the boomers ever going to sell their homes? And that's what we have on tap. And of course, more. We got Homes of the Week. And this is Tego and Tracy Venturi with the Venturi Group of Real Broker here in Albuquerque. You can call us at 505-448-8888 if you want to reach out for real estate questions, real estate needs. But great to be here, Tracy, again, episode 477.
There we go. So we're kicking it off. Tego, where are we going to start?
Let's start with the... Actually, I want to address a listener that had asked a question on YouTube this week, and
okay.
I responded in the question. So first off, I appreciate if you're listening, reaching out, and we were talking about the spread between new construction and resale homes, right, in the Albuquerque area, and I said it's somewhere around a 20% premium. And they called me out on that. And I thought, okay, that they made a really good point. I don't know if it was he or she, but made a really good point, which was in particular, recently, home builders are doing a lot of incentives.
Right.
So you say, okay, are we really comparing apples to apples when we compare new construction to resale? And so what I found, and I don't know, what do you think? I mean,
well, when you said 20% last week, I thought that seems really high, but those points you just made are really good because they're offering buy downs for the interest rate, and they're offering incentives, maybe towards closing costs, maybe towards a fridge, washer, dryer, maybe blinds, things like that. So what'd you find?
And this is what they said. It was Love for Puppies was the commenter on YouTube. And so thank you for that. And they said, but new construction offers incentives that are not included in the price. When new builders buy down the rate to 4.5 or 4.99 to 5.25 rate, that's not deducted in the sale price when doing the comps.
Right.
Really good point. So this is probably a real estate professional that made that comment, because that's a very much inside real estate way they put that. But what I did is, so I wanted to go back and just kind of get the data. And so what I did is I went back all the way to 2003 is what I had. And I compared new construction versus resale homes in Albuquerque. I narrowed it down to just 3 bedrooms, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. You're smirking at me like, you're such a nerd.
My data nerd husband.
Yeah, my nerd. And what I found is over that entire period, it was about 11% higher per square foot for new construction versus resale. However, during the great financial crisis, during let's say 9 and 10 in that area, 11, new construction was actually cheaper because they were
competing.
Well, they were just trying to liquidate.
Inventory.
Yeah,
right,
they were trying to liquidate anything they could. So if you actually go from 2012 forward, it's more like 15% premium for new construction versus resale.
Well, there you go. Plus all the other incentives that were pointed out.
Yeah, exactly.
That don't bring the price down, but actually make it a little more affordable to get into that house.
We didn't see the big incentives that we have seen in the last year or so. Prior, we didn't have $20,000 interest rate buy downs. We didn't have $20,000 appliance and incentives for a home buyer of new construction like we do today.
And I'm not sure we still have those today. I know maybe 2 months ago we had some pretty significant seller incentives on new construction, but I'm not sure that we still have as many. I think right now, today in January, we have some nice interest rates where maybe some of the big builders went and bought a book of money and they are offering that interest rate. But then I think the rest of the incentives are fairly typical with new construction.
Yeah. I think that's fair. All right, let's talk about this home search question. And one thing in the way I introduced it, Tracy, was okay, let's go beyond the how many bedrooms does it have? How many bathrooms does it have? What's the price? What's the square footage? How many garages? Right? There's so much more to it than just the physical structure. And one of the things that comes up a lot is, what's up with the neighborhood, right? And what's going on in the neighborhood. And one of the things as realtors that we have a little bit of a challenge with is we can't answer questions that some buyers want to know.
So true, Tego. And, over the years, we've had a lot of people from out of state, out of area, maybe other parts of the state, out of country. Many people working at Kirtland that are PCSing and coming to Albuquerque to work at Kirtland Air Force Base. And they don't know anything about Albuquerque. And they want us to tell them about what the crime is in the area or what it's like to be in that neighborhood, what it's like to live there. And a lot of those things we unfortunately can't really give advice. What we can do is give direction on how they do their research to find out and make sure they're comfortable with it.
Well, since the Fair Housing Act of 1968, that's how far back it goes, is real estate agents can't answer questions about neighborhoods, schools, safety, and that all has to do with the Fair Housing Act, which is unfortunate because most realtor professionals are servants, right? We want to provide. Help. We want to help. We want to give answers, right? And there's sometimes where we just have to bite our tongue because it can put us in trouble. So,
and what we might be comfortable with could be very different from what our client might be comfortable with.
Well, and wait, let me just say that because that's a good point, because it's an opinion-based answer in most cases.
Right.
So that's where people can go and do their own research. The good thing is in the last 10 years, we've got so many great tools available online for people to do their research. And that's what I'm saying, going beyond just the basics of the house.
So much availability of online research. And just, a lot of times, Tego, when I'm showing houses to people and they go, wow, this is the house. We've literally knocked on neighbors' doors. They have, and asked them how the neighborhood is or wanted to meet the potential neighbors, or they see someone driving up in the driveway next door and they walk over and ask them about the neighborhood. So it's not us telling them about the neighborhood.
Well, okay, I got to go off script a little bit here. In our team meeting this week, we were talking about that, how some folks on our team were doing an open house and the neighbor wanted to share all about everything going on, all about the neighbor. And that's great. The neighbor was proud of their neighborhood and they wanted to share and willing. Of course, we've had the other stories where, the neighbor comes over and tells, people everything
bad about the house,
bad about the neighborhood and the house, and that person's a jerk. And, that stuff happens too. But anyway, let's just, go ahead.
Just to wrap that part of it up. Wouldn't you want to know those things before you move into the house? If there's going to be a neighbor that's going to come over and dump on you, I would rather know before I move in and they come over to greet me.
Absolutely. And I think that would be the number one tip when you're, deciding on a neighborhood or home, is walking the neighborhood.
Different times of day, different days of the week.
Exactly.
Right. When maybe a weekend morning when more people might be out and about doing things in their yard or something, maybe in the evening, take a walk after dark, see how comfortable you feel. Go to the local grocery store, make sure that you're comfortable in the environment. So, yep.
Let's go through some of the tools available online. So researching schools, there's a bunch of them. School Digger and
Great Schools.
Greatschools.org are a couple resources where you have parents that have basically given reviews on the schools. They also pull in rankings from different agencies that track school test scores and stuff like that. So that's one place. Crime. I know City of Albuquerque has a crime map. There's a bunch of different crime mapping tools out there that keep track of, what type of crime and where the crime is in certain parts of town. And that's a resource that you can go to do that work as well. Something that we talked about last week, and also we got a comment about this on YouTube, was our climate here in New Mexico. We forget that we have a pretty good mild year-round climate compared to a lot of other places like where we grew up in Michigan and Minnesota. We have a pretty mild year-round climate. We don't have extremes. We don't have much in the way of natural disasters, and that's another thing people may want to consider, which ties into the next thing, which is property insurance.
Right.
Because
homeowners insurance.
Yeah, homeowners insurance it has taken a hit in the last few years, cost-wise. And, we talked about this last week, but New Mexico is kind of in the middle area for, moderate home insurance costs compared to a lot of other markets. So we're on the good side of average. How's that?
It's going up, but we're on the good side.
But that is, again, something you want to do your research on. And then the other one is taxes. And do you want to talk about the tax thing and how you can get reassessed and all that?
Sure. So our tax code for property tax says your home value cannot go up more than 3% a year.
If you don't sell.
But upon sale, the sale price is recorded to the counties by title, by law, and they have the opportunity to reassess the home at the full sale price now. So a lot of times we see big jumps when someone sells, because there might be somebody who's been in that home for 30 years and it really the property taxes haven't increased proportionately. And so there might be a big jump. And that's why we have to disclose on sale what the potential property tax could go up to based on the sale price.
Yeah.
So we disclose that when we're working with the transaction and helping a seller and buyer work together.
Just a couple things to wrap up this conversation about, doing your home search beyond just the basics. There's walkability, right? There's walk score, where you can get a rating on, how walkable is a neighborhood. There's tools on commute and what, like public commuting, like public transportation, and if it's good for that. If there's noise, there's actually a website you can go into and you put in an address and it'll tell you, where it ranks for noise. And there's going to be certain areas, obviously in Albuquerque, it's going to be near the airport. It's going to be, along the interstates. Roads. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes while we're on this show, Tego, we hear a truck go by because we're right here on Alameda.
Yeah.
And sometimes the microphones pick up the large noisy trucks because there's only a few ways they can get across the river.
They're using their J brakes going down Alameda. I'm not sure why, because it's like flat. But
they
anyway,
can't use Montano. It's against the rules. So they either have to take
Paseo.
Or Paseo. So they have to use I-40 or Alameda. So we do hear trucks on Alameda.
We do get big trucks down here. And there's other stuff too. There's so many different data tools out there, that you can dig into. You can really get down the rabbit hole. And, I'm a geek about different softwares and different analysis tools. So
I know you get down a lot of rabbit holes.
And then the last thing that comes up a lot when people are searching for home is they're buying a home and there's a vacant lot next to it or near it or by it. And they want to know, okay, what's going on? And, your real estate agent, we can look it up and we can see who owns that property. That's probably as far as we can take it. We can tell you what it's zoned for, if it's commercial zoned, if it's multifamily zoned, if it's residential zoned. Right.
Although there are certain areas of our metro area, especially in Rio Rancho, where it might say it's a commercial lot or it might say it's a residential lot. But when development gets there, they can rezone the whole parcel, right?
Right.
We've seen it happen many times where people say, I own a commercial lot, and we go and it gets changed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some homes of the week.
Yeah, I lost my notes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So I actually have a lot to talk about. A lot.
A lot? You have lots of things to talk about, or you have vacant land to talk about? Okay.
Right. So two properties.
Dad joke.
Two properties to talk about in Belen that are new this week on the market. And I think both of them are pretty hot properties. One is a vacant land. It has electricity. It appears as though there used to be perhaps a manufactured home or some sort of home on it before, because it does have some old utilities of unknown origin, unknown what condition they're in, but electricity's there. But it's 1.35 acres, Belen, on 12 Blanco. and it's 56,000. So big piece of land for 56,000 if you're looking for a place with electricity.
Huh.
There's an old well and an old septic of unknown usability. So it might be that they are worthless.
Yeah, it makes sense. It must have been a manufactured home that
that's
got
my
taken
guess.
away. Yeah, that's usually what happens with that. Yeah.
But 1.35 acres for 56,000, and there's no restrictions. You can do a site-built house there, stick-built, or you could put a manufactured home there. And we have a lot of people that call us looking for land that's, where they could put a manufactured home. So it's a great one.
What was the price on that again?
56,000.
Yeah, I mean that in
for 1.35 acres.
Yeah, I mean, with the electricity, that's the thing. Now,
right.
If they got to figure out a well, that could be expensive. But still,
or if the well can be salvaged.
You can't find stuff like that around Albuquerque. It's really slim pickings.
Well, this is in Belen.
Yeah.
On 12 Blanco.
Okay, great. And
then I have another one in Belen. And it's a single wide, and it is a cash only because it's a single wide, and it was like 1970, so it's too old for financing. I think there are some creative deals out there to be had, but basically it's a cash only purchase. And it's a single wide, I know, 3-bedroom, 2 3/4 bathrooms. So there's 2 full bathrooms, but they're 3/4 bathrooms. And one of them is handicapped accessible. It's a 1.15 acres on 8 Vallecitos in Belen.
Okay.
And it's a really cute, quiet cul-de-sac with a beautiful backyard on this property. So it's a sweet little spot in Belen. So if you're looking for something,
price-wise on
145.
Got it.
So great price.
Yeah.
For 1.15 acres in Belen with a nice property on it. We also had a house that just came back on the market on Charwood. It's $310,000 in Ventana Ranch. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage with some nice recent upgrades, and some of the mechanicals recently updated. So if you're looking for something in Ventana Ranch, 310, we've got that too. We have a lot more coming. So if there's something you're looking for, give us a shout. YouTube, Facebook, call us, email us, whatever works best for you. And we'd be happy to help you find your perfect spot.
Okay, Tracy, we're going to do what's hot and what's not. Okay, I don't know. That just sounds catchy and it kind of rhymes. So
let's go for it.
Let's do it that way. What we're going to look at. So last week we went over what the most expensive zip codes in Albuquerque were for 2023. What where we saw the highest sale prices. What I did is I looked at it and said, okay, as of this week, end of January, kind of mid-end. What are we? Mid-end? I guess we're end. Yeah, we're end of January. It went so fast.
Yeah.
It went so fast.
And what happened to Y2K?
Yeah, I know. And so what I did is I looked at all the homes that are on the market, currently active for sale on the market. And not surprisingly, the top 2 were the top 2 on that chart, which were Corrales 87048 and North Albuquerque Acres and Sandia Heights 87122. And again, and then number 3 was Placitas. Number 4 was Sandia Park,
San Pedro Creek, and the Paco neighborhood.
Yep. So all those 4 areas have custom homes in common, larger lots. In their most expensive median price. For listed price for homes in Corrales right now, there's not a lot of them.
No.
So, but still, $962,000.
There's quite a few higher priced luxury homes for sale right now.
You have one of those.
Yes, I do.
In Corrales.
Yep. 60 Camino Vega Verde. And, it's a great house that backs to the bosque along the river, and it's 7 minutes to I-25. If that's generally what it takes. It's an acre lot.
How much? No. How much?
Price? It's basically $1.1 million.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a great property.
Yeah. So that's anyway. And we kind of go down the list: North Albuquerque Acres, and then to Harris downtown, I've said North Albuquerque, North Valley, and then 87111, which is like Tanawan,
far northeast,
and then High Desert. Yep. And then as we go down the list, we go to the bottom of the list, and it's 87102, which is South Downtown, Borealis, kind of that area. So that area median price is 265. And then 87121, which is northwest, but it's south northwest. Got that?
Close to I-40, Coors,
Yeah,
Unser.
yeah, just north of the freeway.
Right there.
Yeah, and in that area, 290 is the median list price. So just kind of and then everything in between.
Hearing you say Borealis reminds me, our listeners have been probably following the Pink Barbie House.
The Pink Barbie House.
So the Pink Barbie House is under contract to be purchased. And, we get a lot of interest in it because it is so darn cute and completely updated in Borealis. But it's
well, and I think a fair point to make is, we're talking about median price when I was talking about these, in the median square footage of a house in Corrales is probably 3,000. And the median square footage of a house in Borealis is probably 1,000. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating.
Borealis.
What did I say?
You're saying Borealis. It's
Borealis.
like, what are you saying?
Hey, I'm Gringo.
Borealis. Yeah. So interesting stuff. Tego, I know it wasn't on your list, but I want to talk about our guaranteed sale program. We used to do a lot of advertising about guaranteed sale, and we've helped a lot of people. And right now, coming up on spring, I really think our listeners need to remember that we have a guaranteed sale program. We obviously have cash offers too. We have various different people who will put a cash offer on your house, but guaranteed sale is really a great program for somebody who wants to buy a new home, but you need to sell to buy. And we can put together, before the process, gets too far down the road, we can meet with you and make an offer on your house to buy it, and at a predetermined price. And you can then move forward. We help you find the house that you want to buy. And instead of having to make a contingent offer, we have your house on the market. And if it doesn't sell in time for you to confidently move forward with your buy, we have already predetermined we will buy it for you to make sure that you can confidently move forward with your purchase of your new home.
And to be clear, it's us or, one of our investor, resource. And when I say investors, these aren't like the wholesalers that are just trying to get things at a super, super low price. No, these are people that make, fair offers,
right?
And give you an option.
So we're helping some folks right now with this exact scenario where they really don't feel comfortable buying until their house is sold. And it's one of in this particular case, they could move forward and buy without having to sell their house, but they're so much more comfortable with knowing there's kind of that safety measure in place so that they can take us up on the offer if they want to, right as it gets close to closing on their new home. This works exceptionally well for new construction also. So if you want to have help getting a new construction home, we can take you to Pulte, D.R. Horton, Twilight, Abrazo, Westway, all the different builders around, because they work with realtors, and they will take the house off the market for you if they know that we have a guaranteed offer that your house will sell.
Yeah.
So trying to make it clear and easy for our listeners to understand. It sounds a little complex, but it's really quite simple.
It's not. It's just, it comes down to, we really want to offer people options when they want to sell. There's a lot of different ways you can do, and not everything works for everybody. And so we don't want to just say, okay, this is our cookie cutter, this is what we're going to do, and we do this for everybody. We have some options for folks.
So all those of you who've been listening to us for the 9 years or so that we've been on the radio and doing things on podcasts and online and on our website and things, will remember that we've had like Barbara Corcoran and Sean Hannity and Bobby Bones and just various Glenn Beck, yep, different people over the years.
And Eddie Aragon.
I was going to say Eddie Aragon. There you go. Talking about us and all the different programs we have. And we still have all those programs, but sometimes we get so into let's talk about the houses for sale or what's going on in the market, we forget to tell our community about all the different programs we have. So,
well, this show, Tracy, we feel like we're just trying to be educators and teach people about real estate and what's going on in the market, and be up to speed on what they need to know. And maybe sometimes we forget to promote ourselves. But,
right.
you know.
So if you want to talk real estate, call us 448-8888. I don't have to say 505. People know we're in the 505.
We're in the 505.
448-8888. It's easy.
And again, we said Eddie. I just want to mention again, we appreciate Eddie and KIVA, the Rock of Talk Radio, been on for a long time, since the beginning when he was down on Carlisle. And anyway, we appreciate it. 1600 AM. And of course, we're on YouTube, Facebook, podcasts, all those
When he
things
was on
too.
San Pedro.
Was it San Pedro?
Yeah.
I thought it was Carlisle.
San Pedro.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay, I was wrong. All right. We got to get to this story. Boomers are the baby boomers. You and I, Tracy.
I know. Look at you.
Are
with
we
your
ever
gray.
gonna sell our homes? And that's really interesting because you and I had that conversation this week
over coffee this week. Yes, we did.
But
what did I say? I said, I don't want to move.
You said no.
I said, yeah, our house is too big. We're empty nesters, but everybody comes to our house for all the family gatherings. There's too many memories here, and we have the space for everybody to be here, and we don't need to move. So
there's been a lot of conversation out in the realtor, especially the what I call the housing econ world, the economists that speak housing, about the silver tsunami. And that refers to all the baby boomers that are suddenly going to all sell their houses at the same time, and we're going to have a flood of homes on the market. And that's been a narrative that's been out there for
a long time.
As
long as we've been on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, long time. And there's a recent survey that was done by HomeLeaf, which is, I don't even know what they do, but anyway, they did a survey, and they said they found that 55% of baby boomers plan to age in their home.
In place.
They don't plan to move.
You're going to take me out on a stretcher.
Yep. And some of the things that they found was 73% of boomers have been in their home for at least 11 years or more, which I thought was actually kind of low.
I know when I saw 11 years, I thought that's such an odd number.
Yeah.
Not 10 years or more, but 11 years or more.
And this is interesting. So half of their homes were built in 1980 or earlier. Older homes. And many have never invested in any renovations. And the majority of boomers have no plans to make home improvements. One of the headline here is Boomer homes have become time capsules.
Yeah.
I thought, we better not look around too close at our house. Well, we did change out our countertops because they were getting pretty dated.
Tego, we've already done several projects at our house and updating, even though it's only 22 years old, 23 years old.
Yeah.
We redid the master bath.
Yeah.
We've redone flooring in several rooms, and we redid our kitchen.
That only 24% of boomers are preparing their home for aging. And so that's
accommodating the spaces.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And so anyway, it was just an interesting thing that, a lot of boomers don't plan on going anywhere. They plan on just staying put and not selling. And then there's another part here where basically a lot of them just plan on having it as part of their inheritance to their estate when they go.
So I'm curious, our listeners, what do you think? What are you planning to do? Are you planning to age in place? Are you planning to downsize? Are you planning to change? We have a lot of people that we work with that are moving here to be near family. So a lot of times it's grandparents moving to be near grandkids to help out.
Yep.
So curious what you're doing, and if you're planning to age in place, or if you're planning to make a change before it gets too hard to do. So let us know.
I just want to clarify something. We're really young boomers.
Barely. We're on the very cusp of being called
I'm not
boomer.
even a boomer. I don't know what I am. I'm kind of in between. I'm not X and I'm not a boomer. I'm somewhere in between.
You're not a tweener.
I'm somewhere in there anyway.
All right.
We appreciate y'all for listening. As always, this is Albuquerque Real Estate Talk with Tego and Tracy Venturi. You can visit our website at welcomehomeabq.com. We keep adding more content, more information there about the home search and home housing market in Albuquerque. And leave us a comment, give us a like on Facebook, and give us a subscribe on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that.
Have a good one.
Take care.